Hi, this is Cynthia from Cynthia's Chair, and I'm back again to give you a video, unfortunately, that I've had another surgery. And I really wanted to share this one with you because it has been such a success and not something that I wanted to go through, but because it's been such a success, and I know that many of you suffer with something that I have been suffering with for quite some time. So today is May 22nd, 2025, and on May 7th, 2025, I had an 11-hour surgical procedure to fix my extreme pain that I have been in for almost, well, it started more than 2 years ago, but the extreme pain has been for the last 18 months to 24 months of my lumbar spine. Now, I'll back up and tell you that I've had two previous surgeries. One occurred in 2019 and the other one in 2020. And one was to take care of a bulging disc and some issues of the left side of my lumbar spine. And the other one was the right side of my lumbar spine. Did they take care of my problems? They gave me some relief, but I had reached the point where I'm at right now, or was until May 7th, that my pain became unbearable. And I mean unbearable. If the doctor asked me what was my pain on a scale of 1 to 10, of course it was always a 10, and I always wanted to say it was a number higher. My pain level was so high that my blood pressure had gone up and I had needed to be on medication to regulate my blood pressure. I'd been on prednisone for the last 2 years so that I could just function, because I was just in so much pain, and I'm one of those people that can take that pain and just swallow it and not show it, and that really made my body go into a negative effect. So I just wanted to show up today, do this video, and talk to you guys about the benefits of having lumbar fusion. Now, the area of my concern was L4, L5, and also L5 and S1. The reason that my surgery took so long, there was some issues that they had to manage, and they also had to, which we already knew going in, they had to go in anteriorly, so they went in through my abdomen, and then when they finished doing all of that work, they turned me over and they went in through my back. They had to go in through both in order to get everything set and in place. They did put cadaver bone material in, as well as 2 cages. 1 cage went between each of the vertebrae. Now, I do have a spine here. When I first got this, because I wanted it for demonstration, and my husband and I were talking, and I found out that they were going to go in through my abdomen, I was really excited. In fact, my husband said, "I think you're a little bit too excited about this." I'm like, no, if they went in just through my back, they don't have a lot of room to work. But if they're going in through my abdomen, they have a lot more space. There's a lot more room for them to manipulate in here. So let's talk a little bit about the vertebrae and about the spine itself. These little rubbery, almost clear discs, well, that represents the disc that is supposed to provide the cushioning between each of our vertebrae, the whole way up our spine. These little yellow things hanging out, these represent the nerves that come out from the spine. And those nerves go to different parts of the body and will give us sensation. And also, those nerves get information back that go up to our brain and tell us information. I also want to show you, and I think I can do it further up here, the inside, each of the vertebrae, as it goes down, there's a big hole right there. And that hole is the foramen, and that's where the spinal cord, the actual spinal cord, goes the whole way down our spine. And that has to be open. We don't want that to be compromised, because then we really run into motor and sensory problems. Fortunately, mine has been intact. and they didn't really have to do anything there. So the vertebrae that were involved with my procedure, so this is your sacrum. This right here is your sacrum. And so this disc needed to be repaired. This is the next disc up right here, which was pretty much gone. And then this one. So what they had to do was go in and clean out all the debris that was floating around inside my body, because my two vertebrae were literally smack dab on top of one another. Not only were they on top of each other, but as all the doctors had explained to me, they had also moved forward. So because they had moved forward, I actually lost 2 inches of height because I couldn't stand upright. Well, as you can see me sitting here, I'm upright again, and I regained those inches, which I was very happy about. Regained about 1.5 inches, I believe, as I was measured recently. They also had to free up the nerve roots coming out from the vertebrae. They had to free these all up, and they had apparently had to do a lot of work in this area because there was some scar tissue from previous surgeries, and they had to get that all cleaned out. So when I came out of my surgery, I guess it was the next day, I had a lot of discomfort in my groin right here on my left side. And when one of the physician assistants came in, I said, "Can you explain why I have pain down here? Because my scar is here. I don't know what happened." And he explained to me that there was a lot of scar tissue there, and they had to meticulously open that up so that they could get all of the nerves open. So I have to big shout out first to my God. God has been with me through this entire time, and I have done nothing but praise him, because I left that hospital, and I'm here today to tell you that I have no pain. Absolutely no pain. The doctors from day one said their goal was to get me down to 80% of the pain that I had. If they could get rid of 80% of the pain, they would be thrilled. I had my follow-up appointment yesterday, and when they asked me where my percentage was, I said I have 100%. 100% of my pain is gone. And I know that they were flabbergasted by that. I know that they just didn't comprehend that initially whenever I said it to them. And I said, no, I have absolutely no pain. I'm taking no pain medication. I am taking no medication for muscle relaxing. And I've stopped taking my blood pressure medication. Talked to my PCP. She cleared that, and she said, you absolutely don't need it anymore because my blood pressure has returned to normal. So I also want to give a big shout out to Allegheny General Health Network, which in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because that is where I went for my surgery. Dr. Yu, YU, is my neurosurgeon, and he and his team did such a remarkable job. And also I want to give a shout out to Dr. Mulak, who was my vascular surgeon, who did countless hours of work going in through my abdomen to get everything cleared so Dr. Yu could get in there and do his job. I can't thank all of them enough, and all of their staff, because they did such a remarkable job. Again, I said I could only stand at 5'4", and here I am today sitting completely upright, and not because the brace is holding me upright. So I want to show you that. I'm going to take the brace off, which I am allowed to take off. It is to remind me that I'm not allowed to bend. I'm not allowed to lift. My lifting restriction is 5 to 8 pounds, and I'm not allowed to twist because I have months to go before all of the cadaver bone and my bone and the grafting of the the cage that they put in to replace my disc, before all of that comes together and fuses to become one unit, it's going to take months. It's going to take 6 to 12 months before all of that happens. But in the meantime, I'm wearing that as a reminder, and I'm also wearing that to just give me support when I'm up and walking around. I don't have to have it on all of the time, but I just want to show you, and I'm going to stand up and just show you what it looks like to have my now straight back, which is just remarkable for me. This is something I was not able to do, and I can sit. I have to try to keep, maintain my body, and as you just saw, I'm not really needing much support. Now, I know that not everyone is going to be able to get up and down like this. And how can I do that? Well, you guys have watched some of my other videos, and you know that I did prep work beforehand. And I did prep work. I did work to get my quads strengthened. Was it easy? No. Did I know that I had to do it? Absolutely, because I knew that I wanted to come out of that surgical procedure being stronger than what I was before. And I have been doing a lot of walking because I don't want to sit anymore. All I was doing prior to the surgery was sitting. And so now I'm averaging, now remember, I had my surgery 2 weeks and a day ago. I'm averaging 3,000 steps a day, just walking around in my home, walking around outside. I can't fathom that I'm able to do that right now. One of the things that is frustrating is I can't bend down to pick something up off the floor. Now, I had this before my surgery. I don't know if you guys have seen, I'm sure everybody has, the lovely gripper, but it has come in handy. So if I drop my skeleton to the floor, I can use this to pick it up. Now, if I drop a piece of thin paper or if I drop a coin, I'm probably not going to be able to pick it up with this, and that's where I have to rely on my family to help me with small things like that. But for the most part, I've become very independent. I can now shower. The first 2 times that I showered, I sat down and used the shower chair. I still have it available if I don't feel steady, but I really have not had any issues with that. And I'm able to go up and down the stairs, and I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. I'm also going to be adding at the end of this video clips of my x-rays, clips of my current x-rays that show the hardware that they put in place to hold everything together. Some screws are in there, and you'll get to see those if you want to, but they'll be at the end. So if you are not someone who likes to see some hardware or likes to see some x-rays or whatever, then you can just skip that at the very end. But I want to reach out to all of you. If you are in a position or in a situation where you think that you are ready for surgical intervention, if you have questions, send them my way. I'll do what I can to try to answer you. But I'm telling you that I went from a 10 out of 10 on my pain every single day for at least a year to having 0 pain, absolutely no pain. But I now have to be very, very diligent because I need those bones to fuse. They need to all come together as one, and that's not going to happen overnight. I cannot bend forward. I cannot twist my body. I cannot lift anything over the limits that they give me. I will see my surgeon again in a month, and prior to seeing him, I will have another x-ray. And I will keep you guys updated as I am going through this process. And I just, again, thank God, but I also thank the hands and the surgeons and everybody that was in the OR with me that day. It was a very long and lengthy day. And I thank my husband and all of my family that have been supporting me, and my church family that has been praying for me. I am just so very grateful for all of the time that everyone has put in my regard. And I have so much respect for the entire team at Allegheny General Hospital. So if you have any questions, drop them in my comments section. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll give you an update as soon as I can. So this is the brace that was recommended by my doctor. Now, this brace came through a medical supply company that came to my house and fitted it for me. I since learned that you can buy this on Amazon for a lot cheaper than what they charged us for. So it's an Aspen brace. Definitely check into whether or not you can purchase what they recommend yourself rather than going through a medical supply. So it's not fully rigid, but it has some stability there. So you just put it on like this. What I like about this one is when you pull these tight, they kind of stay, so you don't have to be like tugging on them the whole time. And so it just goes on just like that. And it does give me that support there in the back. So what I'm going to do now is walk up the steps just to show you my mobility. As you can see, I'm touching the handrail, but I don't really need it, and I feel really secure as I'm walking up and down. So I am so grateful that I'm able to walk and move around, and I'm not using any assisted devices. And my doctor has encouraged me to walk as much as I feel capable and able, and that's what I'm doing.